Hello out there. Johnny Daniel, independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. How are you tonight? I'm just getting things a little bit situated. I'm a little off kilter, gee, go figure. So whoever joined me, say hello. Just getting the computer set up, and well, you know the drill by now, right? So if you would like to follow me more than just here, you can follow me on www.stampingwithjohnny.com, and we will get started in just 2.5 seconds. Hi Lise, how are you, hun? So I don't know about you, but after this is done, I will start cooking and prepping for tomorrow, and finish up office hours, and you know how this goes. So we'll be good. So I don't know if you're cooking tonight, but I will be doing some of it. So all right, so tonight we are going to be doing a faux bokeh technique. The bokeh is where it looks like the light is shining behind it, and you've got the circles where like the sun or the light is reflecting off of an image, humidity in the air, you know, whatever it might be. So that is the name of the game for the bokeh technique. There's several different ways you can do it. You can do it with dark ink with a sponge dauber, and then do white on top of it to bring out that image that you want. Sorry, lost for words for a second there. You can do it that way. You can do it with tissue paper and cut a whole bunch of tissue paper with circles and glue them on, if you would prefer to do that, and then glaze over it afterwards. You can do that, or you can do this you can also buy a stamp that looks like that. So there's that. But this is a faux bokeh technique that I came across, and it's basically using aqua painters, and that's about it. So it's a pretty easy technique. So for tonight, I've got my snail adhesive off to the side. I've got thick white cardstock already cut to be in a base for the card. I've got blueberry bushel cut as a mat at 5 by 3 3/4, and then I've got my shimmery white cut here at inch in from 5 1/2, so 4 1/2 by 3 1/4. Boy, that was a good one, huh? Math. And then I've got pre-cut out of the shimmery white as well. Pre-stamped on Mossy Meadow, with Mossy Meadow, in the Winter Woods bundle. I've got it stamped and then die cut out. What I like about this die cut, yes, I know it's another tree, but you've got all the little branches pre-done, pre-cut for you. So if you wanted to flock your tree, if you wanted to curl these up to make the branches stand out, you could do that very, very simply. So kind of a cool concept. And if you don't want any of the frills and curls, you just glue it flat and leave it, or you can use the framed one. But for tonight, we are doing a color wash, and then we are going to do a faux bokeh technique. So what you need for this are 2 aqua painters, okay? You need, and they come in a set of 2 when you purchase them, and one is a medium tip and one is a large tip. Honestly, for the wash, I would use the large tip, but if you forget, it's not that big a deal. It really is not, okay? And that's about it. So as you can see here, oh, come on. Scared to get water on myself too. As you can see here, this is the larger tip. It is quite a bit longer, and it is a tiny bit wider. So it really just depends on if you want bigger droplets or if you want a bigger wash, shall we say. Okay, so I'm going to take the medium tip actually because it's got more room in it, not as much water, and I'm going to drop some blueberry bushel down in here because if I don't, guess what? Then we're just doing water and you're not going to see anything. So I'm just going to drip probably about a dozen drops or so down in here. And then this rinses out really nicely. I'm sorry, I'm counting. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We'll do one more just for good luck. Lucky 13. So, if your tip happens to get stained, you can run a tiny bit of bleach through your tip. Make sure you rinse it really well if it bothers you that it is stained. So, I'm just going to tip this a tiny bit to get that ink mixed in. And this is not a screw tip. You just pull it off. And to get this guy started, I'm just going to squeeze until I see how it's coming down here? So I'm just going to squeeze until it drips. There we go. And what I'm going to do is squeeze on my paper. Ooh, shimmery white is like a halfway between watercolor paper and Whisper White. So what I'm doing is just dripping a whole bunch of ink and then I'm washing it down. So what I want to do is kind of do an ombre effect. If I can hold my paper down. And when you have enough ink, which I think I do, so I'm going to drip just a tiny bit more to wash it all the way down. But what you can do is grab your other aqua painter that's full of just water, and then you can make it come all the way down. Okay, so I'm going to just drip a tiny bit more water down and then wash this all the way down. Because I don't want it dark all the way down. I want a gradual or gradient wash. So there we go. Okay, and we're going to let that dry for half a sec. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to think about what else I want on here. So I can, while I'm waiting for that, I can glue down my mat. Hi Cheryl, how are you, hun? Are you cooking tomorrow, hun? I am, but we are having PJ day and not anybody over. Just easy day. It's one of the few days that I take and we watch movies and cook. Believe it or not, cooking is actually a kind of a therapy for me. So I glued down my mat. Sorry, my nose is a little tickly for a second there. And I will tell you this, what I should do is plug in my heat gun and get that to dry a little bit. So let's see what we can do, huh? On the fly, really quick. So, because I want that heat set so, and drier. It doesn't have to be all the way, but for this bokeh technique, you need it to be halfway dry. Heat gun, extension cord. So you need it halfway dry, so that way it, the technique works. Because otherwise it's just going to be a soupy mess. Go figure, huh? So let's see here. Why I didn't think I had to heat set it before, I'm not sure. But, you know, such is life in the big city. So, Monday you'll be cooking. What's Monday, Miss Cheryl? So let me just get this plugged in 1 second. Alrighty, we are on it. So, what I'm going to do is just get this on low and get this drying. You'll know it's drier when the paper starts to flatten out. When your paper is still wet, it will be very, very curled. Okay? See how it's flattening out there? and pretty much all over. So we're just gonna work this for just a minute because I don't want it to be soaking wet. And what you can do also is flip this over. It's okay that it looks like a mess on the back, really. But what I can do is dry it from the back as well. And we will be just fine. 2 seconds of this and then on it goes. Okay, so this Faux Bokeh technique, yeah, good enough. All right, so you want it, you can still have it damp to the touch, but you don't want it soaking wet, okay? So you definitely, it's a little bit of finesse. All right, so now I need to get the blue out of this, so hold on a second. Because we want clear water coming out of this guy. Doesn't mean the tip has to be clear, but it means I don't want blue coming out. And you might want to have a waterproof mat instead of just having your scrap mat. Just saying. Just because it might be a little easier. All right, so what you do after your painter is cleared is you just drop circles of water. And that becomes your spots that go lighter for your bokeh kind of look. Yes, it's that simple. So you want some dark areas. You want some dark areas so that way your water spots or your bokeh or your images pop through. That one I didn't like because it's more oval, but oh well. So what we're gonna do, hopefully, is hurry this process because I didn't think about the fact that it was gonna take a while. So we're gonna try to do this straight up and straight down so that way my circles stay kind of the same. What I want to do is get that into the paper a little bit and then I can dab it off, but I definitely want some of that water to absorb in. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to just speed this up for you, okay? So we're just gonna get a little bit of that going. And you can probably already see it happening. Yours will be much better because there will not be swirls where the wind, for lack of better terms, hit it. So I'm gonna turn this over and dab it off. And you can see how you've got circles coming out, yeah? So that is what you're looking for this technique, okay? I need to do a couple more down here. Smaller ones. There we go. So it's just kind of an interesting, and it's a fun thing to play with. So depending on how many spots you want is how much you do. But yeah, you just kind of, this is something you do a couple drops and go cook dinner and then come back and, you know, that kind of thing. So Monday you're making Thanksgiving. Got it, Cheryl. Adapt, overcome, right? However that saying goes, right? So, dry these in here just a tiny bit. Okay. Dab them off. Okay. So see how these are coming out? I hope you can see that on camera. So I'm just gonna dry this so it's not completely soaking wet. Get this out of the puddles. And let's see if we can kind of heat this and speed this up a tiny bit. I forgot about water drying on camera, but it's okay. No problem. I can talk about the fact that Saturday I'll be at Farmer's Market and I'll have quite a few of the Christmas stocking kind of things done. So that will be happening. And then, of course, Saturday night we've got the Christmas party. So if you want that, if you want to come to that, please let me know. By tomorrow, yes, I will be closed, but I'm just making this arch the way I want to. When you're not using heat gun, you will not have craziness happen as far as warping goes. So I'm going to move this and fold this because it's a little wet. All right, adapt and overcome, right? Just like Miss Cheryl. Alrighty, so we've got this going on, and I'm going to grab my snail, and I'm just going to use some extra because it's still a tiny bit damp. So I want this to go on smoothly. I might have to come back and do some glue dots or, you know, but it's okay. Nothing we can't creatively fix. So, right? Okay. So just kind of a cool technique to play with. It does take a little bit of finesse and a little bit of practice to get it done right. Or at least so I didn't feel like I was being in kindergarten, we'll just say. So I've just put some mini dimensionals where the flares of the branches are not. Oh, come on. Need the back to come off, huh? There we go. Yay. If that's the hardest part of your day, you're doing all right, right? So I've got that going on. I'm going to stick this guy up here, and you're going to probably tell me, John, you're putting it in the air. Well, I'm not. It's okay. Because I don't think I want the red, though. I'm going to do some Night of Navy. But I am putting it in the air because I want my Merry Christmas to be on the bottom. And the nice thing about clear stamps is you can see through them, right? So we're going to position this right on the edge of that tree. Get that stamped in. Hopefully the paper's dry enough to see it. Yay! And that is, I think, what my card is going to be. Kind of cool technique, right? And obviously, depending on where the dots have gone, will be dependent on what you do, where you position things, you know. Maybe this one should have been a stocking instead, you know. It just really depends on the layout and how happy you are with it and what you want to cover up, shall we say. So I'm just looking for my gold tree toppers. Champagne, actually. Here we go. So I'm going to stick one of these guys on. I'm going to use the medium size one, I do believe. And yes, I could have used the take your pick tool, but I did not. So that is the Faux Bokeh technique. I hope you like it. Make sure to use a waterproof mat. It will be much easier for you. And if you let it dry instead of heat setting it, you will have better luck with it. But it is kind of a very cool technique. So I will leave you with that. Enjoy your holiday. Happy Thanksgiving. We will see you back next week if I don't see you for the Christmas party or the farmer's market. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. And remember, stampingwithjohnny.com. Thank you. Bye-bye.